In the heart of a great African kingdom, there were princesses, each unique in their own way. The eldest, Princess Marina, was breathtakingly beautiful, but her beauty came with a sharp edge of pride. She loved to remind everyone just how special she was. In the smartest, the prettiest, and the most important person in the kingdom, she'd boast, flashing a confident smile. The second princess, Anicia, was the complete opposite. She was so lazy that she spent most of her days lounging under the wide branches of a marula tree, snacking on sweet jelly plums while everyone else worked. Why bother doing today what you can put off until tomorrow? She'd yawn, stretching like someone without a care in the world. Then there was the youngest, Princess Halle. She was born without a single strand of hair, earning her the nickname, the Hairless Princess. Some people whispered about her behind her back, but Halle never let it bother her. She'd laugh and say, "Who needs hair when I've got a head full of ideas?" One day, their father, King Masisi, called the three sisters to his chambers. His usual calm face was clouded with worry. "My daughters," he began, his voice low and serious, "our people are in trouble. The rivers are drying up, the crops are dying, and families are going hungry. We cannot let this continue." The princesses listened closely, their expressions turning serious. "I need one of you to step up," the king said, looking at each of them in turn. "The one who can bring water back to the kingdom will prove herself worthy to lead. She will be the one groomed as the next queen." The room went silent. Marina's confidence faltered. Anicia looked uneasy, as though the weight of responsibility was something she'd never felt before. But Halle's eyes lit up with determination. For the first time in their lives, the three sisters had to face a real challenge, one that beauty, laziness, or clever remarks couldn't solve on their own. The next morning, they each set off on their journeys, knowing the fate of the kingdom depended on what they would do next. Princess Marina, ever confident, packed the finest, shiniest royal jewels she could find, convinced they would win her favor with the spirits of the land. "How could they resist me?" she said, admiring herself in the mirror. "Surely, they'll bow to my beauty and intelligence." With her jewels packed neatly in a silk bag, she mounted her golden horse and rode toward the tallest mountain, where she'd heard the legendary river spirit dwelled. When she finally reached the summit, Marina stood tall, puffing out her chest with pride. The river spirit appeared before her, a shimmering figure made of swirling mist and glowing light. Marina barely let the spirit speak before she declared, "I am Princess Marina, the most amazing princess in the world. I have come to solve the kingdom's problem. Give me water, and I might reward you with these priceless jewels." She held up her treasure with a confident smirk. The river spirit stared at her for a moment before letting out a soft chuckle, its voice like a breeze over a quiet stream. "Your jewels are indeed beautiful, but your arrogance reeks worse than a pile of rotten fish." The words stung, and Marina's face flushed with anger. "Come back," the spirit continued, "when your heart is as pure as your face is proud." Marina clenched her fists, glaring at the spirit as it faded into the mist. Without a word, she turned her horse and stormed off down the mountain, her jewels jingling uselessly in her bag. Princess Anicia, true to her lazy nature, didn't bother with preparations. "Why carry heavy things?" she said with a long yawn. She set off casually, strolling into the forest, as if she had all the time in the world. In her mind, finding water would be as easy as a walk in the shade. After wandering for a while, she came across a towering anthill, bustling with tiny workers. Anicia plopped down nearby, fanning herself lazily. "Oh, Aunt Queen," she called out, barely raising her voice. "Come out and tell me where the water is, and I'll thank you later or something." The ground trembled slightly, and the Ant Queen emerged, small yet commanding, her antennae twitching with authority. "Princess Anicia," she said, her voice sharp but calm, "why should I help someone who won't even lift a finger to help herself? You've done nothing to earn my aid." Anicia sighed dramatically, slumping against a tree. "But it's so hot," she complained, wiping imaginary sweat from her brow. The Ant Queen's eyes narrowed. Come back when you've learned the value of hard work, she said, disappearing back into the anthill without another word. Left alone, Anicia shrugged and lay down under the nearest tree. A little nap can't hurt, she mumbled, closing her eyes as the forest hummed around her. Princess Halle had no jewels to offer, no golden horses, and no extravagant plans. But what she did have was her quick mind and a heart full of curiosity. Instead of wandering aimlessly, she went straight to the village, where the elders often gathered under the shade of a baobab tree to share their stories. She sat quietly, listening as they spoke of a time when the rivers were full and the land thrived. Back then, one elder said, his voice heavy with memory, the air was alive with music and laughter. The rivers flowed because the land was happy. Halle's eyes lit up. She thanked the elders and immediately gathered the children of the village. Come, let's make music together, she said with a grin. The children, excited by her energy, joined her in a heartbeat. They drummed on old pots and pans, clapped their hands, and sang songs so vibrant that even the birds paused to listen. Their laughter and rhythm filled the village, rising up like a celebration. The marula trees swayed gently, as if dancing to the beat. Then, as if carried by the music itself, the river spirit appeared. It shimmered with light, its laughter blending with the songs. Little princess, the spirit said, its voice warm and melodic, your joy has woken me from my slumber. You understand what many have forgotten. Water flows where there is life, love, and harmony. The spirit extended its misty hands, offering Halle a beautiful calabash filled to the brim with sparkling water. Take this gift, it said. Let it bring your kingdom back to life. Halle held the calabash close, her heart swelling with pride and hope. She thanked the spirit, then turned to the children and the elders, her voice clear and strong. This is just the beginning, she said. Let's keep the music alive, and the rivers will flow again. Princess Halle returned to the palace with her calabash of water, its surface shimmering like liquid silver. The entire kingdom watched in silence as she knelt by the dry riverbed and tipped the calabash gently. The water poured out, winding through the cracked earth like a living thing. At first, nothing happened, but then a soft gurgle echoed through the air. The ground trembled, and suddenly, the river came alive, rushing and sparkling as it filled every corner of the kingdom's waterways. The parched crops turned green, flowers bloomed in bursts of color, and the animals, once weak and quiet, sprang to life, kicking up their hooves in a jubilant dance. The kingdom erupted with cheers as laughter and song spread like wildfire. King Masisi stepped forward, his eyes brimming with pride and gratitude. He wrapped Halle in a warm embrace. You, my youngest and wisest daughter, he said, his voice full of emotion, have taught us all a great lesson. It is not beauty, laziness, or pride that brings solutions, but kindness, cleverness, and hard work. Halle lowered her head, her cheeks burning with shame, but she managed a small, sincere smile. I see now that there's more to being a leader than being admired, she said softly. Anicia and Marina stood afar observing and murmuring words to themselves. And in the heart of the kingdom, where the rivers now ran freely, the people sang and laughed, always remembering the tale of the three princesses who saved their land and found their true selves. After Princess Halle saved the kingdom by restoring the rivers with her music and joy, King Masisi realized that leadership required more than a single victory. He called his daughters together once more, this time with a thoughtful look in his eyes. My daughters, he began, Halle has shown us the power of kindness and cleverness, but ruling a kingdom is full of challenges. If you are to lead, you must be ready for anything. The sisters exchanged wary glances. Marina stood a little taller, eager for a chance to redeem herself, while Anicia stifled a yawn, already dreading what might come next. Halle, ever calm, watched her father closely, curious about what he would say. The room grew quiet as the sisters leaned in to listen. This time, the king continued, I will give each of you a unique task, one that will test your heart, your mind, and your strength. These challenges will not be easy, but they will show me who is truly ready to rule. One morning, the king called his daughters together. My daughters, our people are happy now, but another danger threatens the kingdom. A terrible drought has dried up the neighboring kingdoms, and many travelers are coming here for food and shelter. To protect our land, you must find 3 magical items: the Staff of Strength, the Shield of Unity, and the Crown of Wisdom. You can only succeed if you work together. The princesses agreed to the task, but each felt differently about it. Marina was angry and thought to herself, "Why should I, the smartest princess, share the credit?" Anicia yawned and said, "Why not let Halle do all the hard work? She loves these kinds of adventures. Anyway." Halle, as always, smiled and said, "Let's give it our best shot." The sisters set off on their journey. Their first stop was the Mountain of Thunder, where the Staff of Strength was hidden. The mountain was steep and rocky, and the wind howled loudly like wild beasts. As usual, Marina took the lead. "Follow me. I'll find the staff first," she said confidently. But halfway up the mountain, she slipped and fell into a deep ditch. "Help me,"
Marina shouted.
Her pride wouldn't let her ask politely, though. Anicia, lying lazily on a rock, shook her head and said, "Helping her will only slow us down." Halle sighed, then she tied a rope to a tree and climbed down to help her sister. "You'll have to work with me to climb out," Halle told Marina. Marina grudgingly followed her instructions, and together they climbed out of the ditch. Though she didn't say thank you, Marina looked slightly embarrassed. When they finally reached the top of the mountain, a powerful mountain spirit appeared before them. "Only the strongest can take the Staff of Strength," the spirit announced. Marina quickly stepped forward. "That's me,"
she said.
But as soon as she grabbed the staff, it became so heavy that it knocked her to the ground. The mountain spirit chuckled and said, "True strength is not about pride or muscles. It's about having the strength to help others." This time, all 3 princesses lifted the staff together. With their combined effort, they succeeded, and the spirit allowed them to take the Staff of Strength. Their next destination was the Swamp of Shadows, where the Shield of Unity was hidden. The swamp was dark, sticky, and filled with eerie whispers that seemed to mess with their minds. As they ventured deeper, the voices grew louder. "Marina thinks she's smarter than you," one voice hissed to Anicia. "You'll never be as clever as Halle," another whispered to Marina. "Why do you always let your sisters push you around?" The voices taunted Halle. Marina's frustration boiled over. "Maybe I am better off without you too," she snapped. Anicia crossed her arms.
"Fine.
You're just a bossy know-it-all anyway." Even Halle, the calmest of the 3, felt hurt. "Bossy? I'm just trying to help," she shot back. Suddenly, a giant shadowy monster rose from the swamp, its dark form twisting and growing. "Yes, fight more. Your anger makes me stronger," it roared. The princesses froze in fear. But Halle quickly realized something. The monster feeds on our anger. If we stop fighting and work together, it'll disappear. Marina hesitated but eventually reached for Anicia's hand. Anicia grabbed Halle's hand, and the 3 of them formed a circle. Together, they began to sing a cheerful village song Halle had taught them long ago. Their laughter and music echoed through the swamp, making the shadow shrink smaller and smaller until it vanished completely. As the swamp grew quiet, the Shield of Unity rose from the murky water, shining brightly. A soft voice spoke. "You have shown the power of working together.
Take me."
The sisters took the shield and moved on to their final challenge, the Cave of Wisdom, where the Crown of Wisdom was hidden. The cave wasn't easy to enter, though. Its entrance was sealed, and the only way to open it was by solving 3 riddles. A booming voice echoed from the rocks. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. What am I?" Marina rolled her eyes. "That's simple, a fire," she said confidently. The cave rumbled, and the first door creaked open. The second riddle was trickier. "The more of me you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?" Anicia thought for a moment, and then grinned. "It's footsteps,"
she guessed.
The second door opened. The final riddle stumped them all. I have cities but no houses, rivers but no water, and forests but no trees. What am I? Marina frowned, and Anicia yawned. But Halle suddenly lit up with excitement. It's a map, she shouted. The last door opened, revealing the crown of wisdom, glowing with golden light. As they made their way home, Marina started to feel jealous again. Halle solved 2 riddles. Father's going to think she's the smartest, she muttered to Anicia. Anicia, feeling mischievous, whispered back, maybe we don't need Halle to carry the crown. What if we just take it ourselves? Halle overheard them, but didn't get upset. Instead, she calmly sat them down. I didn't solve those riddles on my own, she said. Marina, you answered the first one. Anicia, you got the second. The crown doesn't belong to one of us. It belongs to all of us. We only succeed when we work together. Marina and Anicia looked at each other, ashamed. You're right, Marina admitted. I've been jealous because you're so kind and clever, Halle. And I've been lazy, letting you do most of the work, Anicia added. From that moment, the sisters promised to support each other. Together, they returned to the kingdom with the staff of strength, the shield of unity, and the crown of wisdom, ready to protect their people. The king was overjoyed when his daughters returned with the magical items. You have shown that true strength, unity, and wisdom come from working together. Each of you has unique gifts, but as sisters, you make each other even stronger. With the magical artifacts safely back in the kingdom, the rivers flowed freely once more, the crops grew lush and green, and prosperity returned to their land. The 3 princesses, having learned the value of teamwork and set aside their jealousy, vowed to do everything together from that day on. Each morning, they woke up at the same time, brushed their teeth together, and shared every meal. If one finished eating before the others, she would wait patiently so they could all leave the table together. To everyone in the kingdom, it seemed like they had forged an unbreakable bond of sisterhood. But the king, wise and perceptive, noticed something others did not. He saw that their newfound unity had become more about avoiding conflict than embracing individuality. They're using their teamwork to mask deeper issues, he thought. Their unity isn't built on honesty, it's just a way to keep control over one another. One day, the king called his daughters to his chambers. The sisters arrived eagerly, expecting more praise for their harmony and teamwork. Instead, the king greeted them with a serious expression. My daughters, he said, I have something important to share with you. I will soon be traveling to a distant kingdom to bring back a prince. He is admired by all, wise, handsome, and from one of the wealthiest kingdoms. Many princesses have dreamed of marrying him, and I know the 3 of you have heard of him as well. The sisters' eyes lit up with excitement. They exchanged glances, barely able to hide their enthusiasm. The king continued, When I return, the prince will choose his bride. But this will not be done in the traditional way. The one who steps forward first to greet him will become his wife. The princesses stood in stunned silence, their thoughts racing as they realized this was not a test of teamwork, but of individuality. The long-awaited day finally arrived. Trumpets blared through the air, announcing the king's return and the prince's arrival. The entire kingdom buzzed with excitement. Villagers gathered in the streets, their faces glowing with anticipation as celebration drums pounded in rhythm. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the palace, waiting for the 3 princesses to emerge and greet the prince. Whispers of curiosity spread through the crowd. Who among them would win the prince's heart? But inside the royal chambers, chaos reigned. Princess Marina was frantically trying on dress after dress. She tossed another gown aside in frustration. This one doesn't show my status. Maybe the green? Or the red? She muttered, spinning in front of her mirror, her face scrunched with indecision. Princess Anicia, on the other hand, was carefully applying her makeup at a snail's pace, her laziness disguised as precision. Perfection takes time, she murmured, admiring herself in the mirror. Meanwhile, Princess Halle sat fully dressed, her gown shimmering elegantly. But hesitation gripped her. What if Marina and Anicia think I'm trying to outsmart them? She whispered to herself. It'll wait for us to go out together, so it's fair. Then if the prince chooses me, no one will say I cheated." Outside, the villagers began to murmur. "What's taking the princesses so long?" One asked. "Are they too proud to meet the prince?" Wondered another. Rosa, a maid who had been running errands for the princesses all day, stood nearby watching the scene unfold. She couldn't understand why the sisters weren't ready yet. Then, an idea struck her. What if I go see the prince myself? Just for a moment. No one will notice, she thought, her heart pounding with excitement. She rushed to the laundry room and found one of Princess Marina's gowns. After slipping it on, she paired it with Anicia's elegant shoes and Halle's delicate gloves. Straightening her back and holding her head high, Rosa stepped out of the palace. The villagers erupted into cheers when they saw her. At last, a princess, they shouted. Rosa tried to keep calm as her knees wobbled beneath her. Slowly, she approached the prince, who stood tall and regal beside his horse. The prince smiled warmly. "Your Highness," he said, bowing slightly, "it is an honor to meet you." Before Rosa could respond, a loud voice cut through the air. "Wait! Stop everything!" The villagers fell silent as the king stepped forward, his sharp eyes fixed on Rosa. His face darkened. "This is not one of my daughters. This is Rosa, the maid," he thundered. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Rosa immediately fell to her knees. "Your Majesty, forgive me," she pleaded. "I didn't mean to deceive anyone. I only wanted to see the prince." The prince stepped forward and gently helped Rosa to her feet. "Your Majesty," he said calmly, "she may not be a princess by birth, but she showed the courage to step forward when others did not. That is a quality I deeply admire." The villagers murmured in surprise, and the king frowned in thought. Rosa's heart raced as she looked down, ashamed. "Your Highness," she said quietly, "I am sorry. I am not worthy of your kindness." The prince smiled. "Worthiness isn't about birthright. It's about bravery and action. You showed both when no one else did." Turning to the king, he continued, "With your blessing, I would like to take Rosa as my bride." Before the king could respond, shouts erupted from the palace. The three princesses had finally rushed out, their gowns flowing and jewelry sparkling. They froze in shock when they saw Rosa standing with the prince. "What is she doing in my gown?"
Marina demanded.
"And my shoes," Anicia cried. "She even took my gloves," Halle exclaimed. The king raised his hand to silence them. "Daughters, you have let me down. I gave you a chance to show courage and decisiveness, but you allowed pride, hesitation, and selfishness to hold you back. Rosa may be a maid, but she has proven herself braver than all of you." The sisters looked at one another, shame washing over them. But we're the princesses,"
Marina stammered.
"We were just getting ready," Anicia protested. "Father, please explain to the prince who we are," Halle pleaded, her voice cracking. The king sighed deeply. "It is too late. True greatness comes from action, not appearance." The prince helped Rosa onto his horse as the villagers cheered. The maid-turned-princess looked back at her former life with tears of gratitude as she rode away with the prince. The three princesses stood frozen, their jaws dropped in disbelief. When the sound of the prince's horse faded into the distance, the king turned to his daughters. "This is a lesson you must carry with you. Greatness isn't about your title or how you look, it's about what you do. Remember this as you prepare to rule this kingdom when I am gone." From that day on, Marina worked to become more decisive, Anicia learned to value punctuality, and Halle balanced her cleverness with bold action. They vowed never to let hesitation or pride hold them back again, growing into wise and capable rulers. As for Rosa, she became a beloved princess in the prince's kingdom. Her story inspired many, proving that courage, humility, and action can change anyone's destiny. Moral lessons. 1. Procrastination leads to missed opportunities. The princesses' delay cost them their chance, teaching us to act when opportunity knocks. 2. Courage and confidence are key to success. Rosa's bravery to step forward won the prince's heart, showing that confidence matters more than status. 3. Pride and manipulation lead to downfall. The princess's pride and self-centeredness blinded them to what truly mattered: action and humility. We hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to hit the subscription bell for more exciting and meaningful stories. Like, share, and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.